Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are reaching me right now. I'm going to put on my magic oil, my witch's brew oils. I do a couple of different crystal infused oil blends, so if you're interested in any of those, I'll be putting them on Etsy soon, but you can reach out to me if you're interested in purchasing them. I have a Not Today Satan, I have a money oil, I have a couple of different ones for different things you're trying to manifest. Okay, so I am Jenna Ross. I am the owner of Spiritually Savage Mindset Strategy Coaching. I'm psychic, channeler, medium, card reader, spiritual coach, and mentor. Whatever it is you need. If you need private readings or coaching, there's a link below in the description. Okay, so I have been struggling with something, and this can be an extremely personal video, so thank you for bearing with me, and I appreciate you subscribing and listening and getting what information you can today. And I know some of you have had some very strong reactions to the videos the last couple of days, but I'm hoping to wake some of you fuckers up and also raise you up for those of you that are getting upgrades and learning to ascend and learning to use your gifts and just waking up now. So today I'm going to talk about my struggle right now, because I realized today that it is not a personal struggle that I'm just dealing with. I am feeling also the collective energy, and that this is a collective struggle. In my life, I have always struggled with love or money. And you will see what I mean as I tell the story. Okay, I grew up in a very... I had a very domineering father whose version of loving us was providing for us, as was many of the men in that situation and in that time period, but it's not over with. It still is pervasive nowadays. That men were trained that in order to love people, you had to provide for them. You had to provide food on the table. You were the breadwinner. And this equated loving somebody when you were the breadwinner, when you were providing a home, when you were providing spending money, when you were providing a way for them to stay home and raise children, when you were providing financial support. And my father looked at that as, this is the way that I love these people, and my job is not anything else. It's just this. And so there wasn't a whole lot of support. There wasn't a whole lot of emotion. There wasn't a whole lot of understanding. There was a whole lot of, this is the house I've provided you and you're going to respect it, and so forth. But that was what he understood love was and what his job was as a man. I don't have any feelings. I've worked through all of that, and I want you to understand that, when you're working through parent wounds, you have to understand that they are just as human as you are, and they were hurting over just as many things and programming and fighting through as we are. So we have to give grace to other people and understand that they were fighting the exact same battles we are. And those of you breaking generational patterns and curses, they were fighting the exact same battle you are. So give them some grace and stop blaming. They just may not have been the person that was capable of breaking this, but maybe you are. So in that, I completely learned in my programming that you could either have someone who would provide for you or be someone that would provide for others, or you could have love. And so I kind of pushed all of everything about who my dad was away and said, that's not what I want. I don't want somebody that's going to provide for me. I don't want somebody that's going to take care of me. I want, I want love. And so I found it. And I found a human that I loved incredibly much. And we used to say to each other that it didn't matter if we lived in a car as long as we had each other. And that was my version of love, is that it didn't matter if we were completely broke, completely destitute, is we had each other, and that's all that mattered. So if you know any of my story, when all of that was taken away from me and I lost my person, I moved on to be married to my career, and I thought, okay, well, love wasn't my thing, so I'm going to go make money. And don't get me wrong, I had an amazing life. I worked in the music industry. I was a nude model for years. I've worked in entertainment, for big movie productions, for digital media type stuff. I've worked in a lot of different realms, and I've met a lot of amazing people who, if I said their names, you would know them immediately. And I still have connections with them, and friendships with them, and family relationships with them. And I had an amazing journey and an amazing time, and got to experience some things that some people will never be able to experience in their lifetimes. And I'm so grateful for that. But I chased the money. I wanted to help a big band get signed. I wanted to, help an amazing movie get through. I wanted to help an amazing television show get, done. Whatever it was I was chasing at that point, and I wanted it to make me a shit ton of money. And it always got really, really close, and then sometimes would fall apart within hours of a meeting that was going to bring about that type of wealth. And throughout my career, I've had artists literally that would have made shit tons of money almost all the way to the table, and then 4 or 5 hours before, things just fell through. And so it was always like, as long as I chased the money, I couldn't have it. As long as I chased love, I couldn't have it. And so it got very discouraging. I had a great life, and I traveled everywhere, and I had these amazing experiences, and I had enough money to get by, and some of my expenses were totally taken care of. But it wasn't the wealth and the abundance and the sticking power and the staying power that I wanted. It wasn't the forever money that I wanted. So everything really came to a head about almost 11 years ago, when I moved to Orlando for a project. And the company I was working with dissolved, and I was left with no place to stay, no project, no nothing that I had been working on for years, and everything was just gone, and I was like starting over. And somebody had come into my life in that area. I had just lost my relationship and everything right there. And so somebody came into my life, which ended up being my son's father. And I felt like maybe this was my opportunity to build something with another person. And I decided that maybe the giant versions of money that I wanted maybe could just be replaced with, not necessarily, destitution, but, maybe love. But I didn't really understand love in the way that I understand it now. And most people don't understand love at all. I found, because of the human programming, because we are taught that love is codependency and enabling. And when I got into this relationship, I really wanted it to be one thing, and I explained it to him in the very beginning, and we talked about how I didn't want a relationship like my father's and my mother's. I didn't want a relationship where somebody was trying to provide money for me and take care of me, and that was their only way of loving me. And he understood that completely, and we had a great relationship until I got pregnant. And when I got pregnant, the responsibility and the obligation kicked in, and that programming that was so instilled in my dad kicked in, and it became, I'm not loving these people. I'm not a man. I am not taking care of the people that I love if I do not provide them the maximum amount of money to my full capacity, and a place to live, and a this and a that. And it completely undermined my ability to be part of this partnership, because it was like I was an invalid, like I needed somebody to take care of me. It also was like, this person doesn't know what they want. They think they want this, but what I'm going to provide them is going to be better, and they'll see. And they'll understand that I love them more than they loved themselves. And so after 8 years of that type of relationship being pushed aside, and him pursuing money and losing a ton of money because he was trying to do, risky things to try to produce more money to prove that he loved me more, or to support me more, I had had enough. And so by trying to provide for his family, he literally forgot the most important part was the family. And he lost that. And so I decided to go on this chapter of my journey. My soul was really calling me to heal and to move back to this place where I originally lost my love and built my dreams of having, you know, a life and a love and a family and everything. And so it was terrifying. And I moved back here and have been moving through it and working through it for more than 3 years. I've lived here since 2019. So it's almost 2 years here, but the journey, I was working on it for more than a year before I moved here. But the thing was this, is as I moved here, I was afraid of this place. I was afraid for a really long time to build my business big and to create this visibility, because I was afraid that other people would see it and try to attack me and take it away from me. They would out me and say things about me that other people would, you know, believe, or, you know, and I would be discredited and defeated, and that what was given to me would be taken away, as it had been previously in my life. And so I came here to heal that fear of being visible, the fear of my past, the fear of losing what I had built and losing what was mine. And nothing that is meant for you can be taken away, by the way. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you, and other people won't be able to take it away. And so, I, you know, came here and healed all that. And by the way, was able to create this YouTube and an amazing coaching practice and an amazing card reading practice and all of the things that I have now and I'm able to bless you guys with, is because I healed all that and now flow from an abundance of love that does not require reciprocation, because I have so much of an abundance that I just give it away. And I am able to support so many people and in coaching and reading and in these YouTubes. I just wanted to continue to flow out for people that weren't able to afford those types of things and still give them some value and still be able to help them along their journey until they create their own abundance and then are able to reciprocate. It's the way it works. You don't do this because of reciprocation, but the universe brings it back to you as a thank you and as a means to show you to keep going and that you're doing what you're meant to do. The universe takes care of you in that way. So the thing is a few weeks ago, I have one reader that I trust to read for me, and he has read for me for this entire journey from the beginning. He does not read professionally. He's very intuitive and he's very powerful, and it's difficult to get him to read for you, but he read for me in the very beginning of this 3-year chapter. And as soon as he read for me, the agreement that I had to make with him was that he would read for me this entire time until completion. And let me tell you that he has seen some amazing things happen, and I have too, because there were a lot of things that I was like, I don't accept that, and we're going to manifest different. And he had never seen that happen before. And so it's been an amazing spiritual journey and growth for both of us also in this. But he did a reading for me a few weeks ago, and I'll be honest with you, the anger that I felt from the reading made me realize that there was still more healing to be done. And that's where you get your self-awareness. That's when you know you're on the spiritual path. When things that people say trigger you and tap on things and make you angry and fired up about something, then you know that is not about them. It's not an offensive thing. It is for you to heal. But in this reading, he talked about a project that I'm involved in right now, and he did not know about the project. I had just started working on this project. And he said, you have started a project of your own, which is my YouTube. And he said, and you have been asked to join a project with a female. And this project will bring you independent wealth. it will be 7 figures. It will be abundance and exactly what you've wanted your whole life. And I immediately was angry because I wanted to know about my love situation, my other situation that I was asking about. And now he basically was telling me the universe didn't want to talk to me about that. The universe wanted to tell me that I was going to get wealth. And of course, in my brain, as the, I can have money or I can have love, that translated to love is off the table. We're going to give you wealth. And it brought up a lot of anger in me. And I want you to know that I've been processing it the last couple of days. And one of the things that I found is with my twin is also processing this, but in a different way. I did not want somebody who had wealth because I did not want someone who was like my father and felt like that was his only job, was to provide money and wealth. And he did not want wealth because he did not want to be like his father, who was also like my father. And so while I'm not wanting my father, and so I don't want someone with wealth, he didn't want to accept wealth because he didn't want to be someone like my father. And we were battling the same thing, but in different circumstances, because your twin often mirrors you. The thing is this. Today, when I was having a discussion with a client, we were discussing their situation and another person's situation that is in their life and how that situation is mirroring. I felt the love and money test again and realized this is a collective thing. And I'm going to tell you why it's a collective thing. This is a collective struggle because it's exactly what people face when they settle. And we are all asked right now to stop settling and to step into our integrity and into listening to our soul, hearing it and doing it without question and without doubt and without fear. Many people choose not to risk being in love because they can't have a comfortable life in love. They feel like they can't have what they want with the person that they love. They feel like by leaving the situation that they're settling for, where they have insurance, where they have a house, where they have children, where they have money to pay the bills, they feel like if they branch out on their own, they will lose those things and won't have it. And then they'll only have love. And to them, love is not enough. But I will tell you this, if you are settling, you are not capable of creating the wealth and security and stability that you are when you are in love. Because you're just making enough to get by. You're just making enough to keep you there. You will never have the abundance you are looking for until you are in a relationship that is meant to be with someone that you are truly aligned with and in love with. We're so worried about losing things. And again, anything that we can lose is not meant for us. We're so worried about stepping out and listening to our soul that we're clinging to the human things like money and stability and certainty when there is no such thing. All of that could be gone in a split second. And guess what? Then you would not have love and you would have lost all of that. And then you'd want to leave because you wouldn't have the things that were keeping you there. If your situation can be changed with a babysitter and a job and a maid, then you're not in love and you should not be there. It's why people stay, because they're so afraid of not being able to create that stability. We want certainty, and the only certainty is to follow your soul and to be on your soul path. It is the only constant, and it is the only way to not lose yourself. Because you can have money and lose yourself by forcing yourself to settle. You're forcing yourself not to be in an integrity with who you are and who your soul is telling you you're supposed to be. And so the money turns to ash. You can't enjoy it because you don't have the person you're meant to be with. You don't have the relationships you're meant to have. You don't have the things in your life that feed your soul. You have the things in your life that provide for your human. We are supposed to love in an integrity with our soul, which means everybody gets the same version of us with just different boundaries. Cheating is not about what you do with your body or your soul or your emotions. It is about transparency. I can carry on an emotional relationship or a physical relationship with many people at once and it not be cheating because I'm completely transparent with everybody and everybody's aware of all of the information. Cheating is a lack of transparency, pure and simple. It is nothing more and nothing less. So if you are loving somebody else in your mind, not even reaching out to them, not having correspondence with them, just thinking about them, longing for them, missing them, and saying, what if? You are already cheating. If you are hiding who you are in any way, shape, or form, you are already cheating. Cheating is not about an emotional or physical relationship with another person. It is about your person not being in a completely transparent relationship with you. Okay? So if you think that you're being loyal to the person that you're with by just staying where you are, you're not. Many people mistake love for codependency and enabling. This is what we're taught is love. Supporting someone, helping them through is not love. It's enabling. And we do it because we need them to need us. And that creates codependency. Doing right by somebody, supporting them through it, sticking with them. That's not love. That's responsibility. That's obligation. That is some fucked up brand of loyalty and some fucked up belief of what loyalty is. Let me tell you what loyalty is. Loyalty is an alignment with your own soul and your own purpose. If you waver from that for someone, anyone, that is you being disloyal to you, to your purpose, which is disloyal to your soul, which is causing your path to be altered, which is causing their path to be altered or held up. Keeping someone from their lessons, from their healing, and from their progress is not loyalty. And it definitely is not love. As humans, we need to completely revamp what our perspective on loving someone is. Because you derailing them, you protecting them, and keeping them from what is meant for them is not loyalty. It is not love. It is selfishness, it is manipulation, and it is self-serving. And it is you trying to use them to fill a void within yourself. It is time for us all to heal. And to recognize we can have financial stability and love. But in order to do that, we have to let go of our predetermined outcome. We have to stop being in love with the story we've created and start going to the people that we're in love with. Your soul is already leading you there. And the reason it's leading you there is because a lot of you are in really dicey situations where your life is falling apart because the universe is removing shit from you to give you an opportunity to see this is not where you're meant to be. I need you all to choose yourselves. That is not selfishness. That is the act of love, not only for you, for your partners, for your children, for your family, for future generations. You have got to choose you and your soul path because you are robbing other people from a good example. You are also passing on generational patterns that your children will now have to break because you've refused to do it. Man up, woman up, and do this for yourselves, for your partner, for your children, for your families, for future generations. Because of that, my friend, that is what love is. Love is not about what's comfortable. Love is about what's right. Go and do what's right.